wings provide the lift. Now we are going to see a simple video and you can visualize the video.
Here is question: how does the plane stays in the air?
Anybody knows how does a plane stay in the air? About aviation, anybody knows?
Let's see a small clip how the plane stays in the air.
How does a plane stay in flight? Being able to fly to other parts of the world for business and pleasure has completely revolutionised our way of life. Your sitting in manages to push it along and lift.
Thrust makes the aircraft move forward, is produced by jet engines, and lift is produced by wings, which makes the aircraft lift up.
To hold it up. The thrust comes from the engines and the lift comes from the wings. If you look at the cross-section of a plane wing,
This is the cross-section of the wing, and this is called as airfoil. And when the air hits the airfoil, immediately it bends down, the air goes underneath the wing, and there are two layers of air formed above the wing and below the wing. One is the low pressure, which is formed above the wing, and one is the high pressure, which is formed below the wing. There is more velocity than at the top of the wing than the below.
you can see that they're a curved, smooth shape, and even mid-flight they're tipped slightly upwards at the front. Every force has an equal and opposite reaction up. This is lift. Over the wing. Now let's look at the top side, where it's a bit more complicated.
Immediately one side of the wing
once again
tilts down, and there's one enemy to lift the other side of the wing up. So this is because of Newton's third law, which is every force has an opposite and equivalent reaction.
What is Konda effect? The jet engine has a tendency to attract the air molecules in air that loosely packed. It sucks the air molecules inside it and give a high force, which provides a thrust to the aircraft to move forward. This is called as Konda effect. It was formed by Rome aerodynamics pioneer
Henry Konda, he was a Romanian aerodynamist and pilot.
Now we are seeing how the plane stays in it. Now let's see how the aircraft
For
moves
an
forward.
aircraft to move forward, it needs engine to provide the thrust. There are three types of engines, which is jet engines, piston engines, and rocket engines. Piston engines are engines which produce less power and are used for smaller aircrafts, and jet engines are produce more power and are used for bigger aircraft. And as everybody knows, rocket engines are used for rockets.
How does a jet engine work? To Icarus, to the designs of Leonardo.
Then Leonardo da Vinci drawing, which he have made more than 100 drawings to illustrate the theory of flight. And this is called as on-the-fish drawing. The man having wings on his arm and trying to fly. This concept is used in modern helicopters to fly. And this all the drawings and concepts were really made by White brothers. They made their first aircraft named as Flyer.
They visualized Leonardo da Vinci's drawing, and they made a real aircraft in the 1902.
There are two wings, top wings and bottom wings. It was about 40 feet wide, and it is covered with cotton clothes, and it had 12 power horse engines. Each the upper side is 6 and the bottom side 6. And they made a second aircraft, and it was about it flied about 1.5 hours in air, and then they got a contract with US made to make the aircraft, and it was the first aircraft possible in US.
Anybody has an idea how the aircraft is introduced and how they thought that to implement this idea? Anybody knows? First, before 5,000 years, in China, they started to fly the kites. Through kites, and they invented that air has weight, so they started to make an airship. Right?
Vinci, history is full of attack power source, which needs to be as light as possible. This rules out quite a lot of potential options. For instance, running a plane on coal would be somewhat pulling the opposite direction.
Here, the fire extinguisher pressure is created. Here, Newton's third law is applicable here. Every action has its opposite and equal reaction. When the fire extinguisher is removed, the reaction is taken place, the pressure is taken place, and we move back. So the opposite reaction is that we move back. The present reaction is that pressure is come over the fire extinguisher.
For example, you are standing on a skateboard here and having a fire extinguisher in your hand, and on it, when you on it, immediately the extinguisher comes out. So when the extinguisher comes out, immediately there's a force created and you move backwards. And there's another force which is pulling you this side. So there are two forces which are acting on you, on your body. So that is because of Newton's third law, which is every force has an opposite and equivalent reaction.
The spray. This is because of Newton's third law, that every force acting on a body must have an equal and opposite reaction force. But throwing air backwards,
jet engine is located under the wings and it sucks the air from front and gives the high pressure back. Because of this, the thrust is created and it makes the aircraft to move forward.
The air is compressed inside the jet engine and
in order
left
to
out
push the
with a
plane
high force.
forwards, shoot out the hole in the end.
As we know, for burning anything, we need oxygen supply. The oxygen supply is not present, we can't burn anything. So there was a design that made that there would be a wall, but when the wall is open, the air would pass into it and it starts burning and automatically close with removing the oxygen. Let's see why the idea was suggested.
Propelling the can forwards. The problem with this solution was to put valves on the front of the can. This is how the V1.
This was the V1 double-bug design how they made. It is located on the tail of the
The engine is located at the tail of the aircraft, and inside the jet engine, in the combustor, there is a reaction taking place more than 1700 degrees Celsius. The combustion takes over more than 1700 degrees Celsius, and the melting point of the metals is 1700 degrees Celsius. When it goes beyond that limit, immediately all the metals start to melt and the aircraft falls. So this project was not implemented and was rejected.
It
This is a turbine which rotates and the air is passed into the turbine. This is the compressor which squeezes the air and raises the pressure.
இதுல வந்து டர்போ ஃபேன்ஸ் இருக்குது. அது வந்து காத்து வந்து நல்லா வேகமா இழுக்குது. அப்புறமா இதெல்லாம் கம்ப்ரசர்ஸ் அது வந்து அந்த காத்து இன்னும் நல்லா பிரஷர் கொடுக்கும். அப்புறமா இங்கதான் ஃபியூல் வந்து வெடிக்குது. அப்புறமா அந்த காத்து வந்து வேகமா வெளியில அனுப்புது. அதனாலதான் அந்த ஏர்பிளேனுக்கு நல்லா
பெட்ரோல் இன்ஜெக்ட் ஆகுது அந்த கம்பஸ்டர் உள்ள, அப்புறம் ஃபயர் வந்து இக்னைட் ஆகுது. ஸோ அது வந்து கம்பஸ்டனுக்கு லீட் ஆகும். ஸோ அதுக்கப்புறம் அது ஏர் அந்த கம்பஸ்டட் ஏர் வந்து அப்படியே வெளியே ஒரு ஹை ஃபோர்ஸோட போகுது.
அதனால ஏர்பிளேனுக்கு த்ரஸ்ட் கிடைக்குது. அதனால முன்னாடி போகுது.
அது முன்னாடி போகுது.
compressor turbine spin sucking in yet more.
இதான் அந்த ஃபோர் ஃபோர்ஸஸ் நான் முதல்ல சொல்லிட்டேன். அண்ட் இதான் லிஃப்ட். இந்த லிஃப்ட் வந்து ஏர்கிராஃப்ட் மேலே இருக்கு. அண்ட் இதான் ட்ராக். இந்த ஃபோர்ஸ் வந்து ஏர்கிராஃப்ட் பேக்வர்ட்ஸ் இருக்கு. அண்ட் இந்த ஃபோர்ஸ் வந்து வெயிட். அண்ட் இந்த ஃபோர்ஸ் வந்து கீழே இருக்கு ஏர்கிராஃப்ட். அண்ட் த்ரஸ்ட் வந்து முன்னாடி இருக்கும். ஸோ இந்த எல்லா ஃபோர்ஸஸும் ஜாயின் பண்ணி ஏர்கிராஃப்ட் பேலன்ஸ் பண்ணி அண்ட் இட் இஸ் லைக். Any questions regarding this?
ஏதாவது டவுட் இருக்கா?